So this video is about the last million or 2 million years or so, and I really like this topic about our historic brain. So 3 to 6 million years ago, we as humans started walking on two legs, and this was a way to conserve energy when we were hunting or building things. About two and a half to 2 million years ago, we came across language and art as well as tools. And what's important about art and language, number one, this is a big assist in terms of cooperation because now we can talk to each other. But it's really the idea of abstract thought is what sets us apart from the rest of nature. We had the ability to think. We became aware of our need to exchange, and we can now think about this problem and focus maybe on better solutions. And I've also heard this term referred to as human consciousness. And then, in 2 million years ago, we started having these more deliberate exchanges, which was really the start of barter. And the problem of barter had two main components to it. One, you had to find the right items that you wanted to exchange, and these would need to be items of equal value. But two, and this one is a little more nebulous, is when we started barter, we also lived in these small family tribes, in these dynamics. And this is really the start of the human dimension piece of the money equation, because humans are, we're fallible, we're subject to all types of internal motivations. And I find this really interesting. So in the last million years, we discovered fire, which allowed us to cook meat. That's a way to pre-digest our food, and this provided more fuel to our brain, and also it provided the fuel in a much more efficient manner. So in the last million years, our brain size has doubled, and I find that absolutely crazy. And then now here's the human dilemma when it comes to money. So we have a brain that is chock full of survival programming, and it's 100 times older than our new brain that gives us this conscious thought, this abstract thought, this ability to think through problems. And this is a dilemma. One of the most popular books that dissects this topic is a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. And Daniel refers to these two types of brains as System 1 and System 2. And System 1 is this is our automatic impulses. These are the survival functions that we can do very, very well. And then System 2, this is our voluntary attention. This is the acts of self-control. This allows us to analyze, to plan, and these new skills are about 1 million years old. And here's a famous illusion that shows the struggle that we have between our two different types of brains. So these lines here are the exact same length. But even after you know that, you have your System 2, your modern brain knows this to be a fact. You still cannot escape what your System 1 brain, your survival brain, is telling you, that they're not equal, they're not the same. But they are the same, and I drew these lines here that are perpendicular. I assure you these two lines are the same length. And this dilemma between our two different types of brains, causes all types of inconsistencies in our approach to money and problem solving about money and exchange in general. And Thinking Fast and Slow has a couple dozen of these problems. He groups them into 3 categories. And we're going to do a couple of quick examples. And we're going to do these examples in a car dealership, because car dealerships know all about this bias and these biases, and they know how to leverage them to their advantage. And we're going to start with anchoring. And anchoring is when you have recent information. It's hard for you not to factor that recent information into your next decision. So when you walk into a car dealership, you're going to see the most expensive car that'll be placed as the first thing you see, this big price tag. So by the time you make your way to the car that you want to buy, the price tag is going to be less, and it's going to give you the sense that you're going to get a good value in the car. But in reality, the two are not related. It's a dealership trick. The price of this expensive car should have nothing to do with the value that you place on the car that you want. And there's over 30 of these conflicts from Thinking Fast and Slow, and here are just a few of them. Really interesting book. And then here's another example, and this one's reciprocity from the book Influence, and this has to do with a water bottle. So I think you can even see it in this picture. Here comes a salesman, and what happens with reciprocity is this salesman has a water bottle. When someone gives us something as humans, we have this need to reciprocate, because millions of years ago, if we did not, we could lose social standing or something to that effect. So at a car dealership, a salesperson can give us a $1 bottle of Coke, and in return, people may pay thousands of dollars more for a car. We just cannot escape this need we have from our 50 million year old brain. And these are all of the examples from the book Influence, where he outlines all these discoveries he had that deal with human psychology. And interesting here, this word is a very common word in Bitcoin. And then to the human dilemma of this, we as humans, we cannot escape the impacts of this dilemma. We have a new brain that thinks very rationally, but we have a system one or an old 50 million year old brain that still keeps us tied to the 50 million years of living that we did as humans in these small family tribes, and then having to cooperate for survival. So in conclusion, exchange is something that we have to do collectively as humans. We as individuals help define it. As a larger society, we have to reach an individual or societal agreement on how we're going to solve the problem of exchange. What is our money? We must do this. But right next to this is the fact that we have a large internal conflict related to even how we think about exchange and how we think about money.